What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Israel Adesanya reacts to Alex Pereira rematch. This week, UFC President Dana White went live on social media with a special announcement, breaking news regarding several upcoming fights, including a rematch between Alex Pereira and Israel Adesanya for the UFC middleweight title at UFC 287. The announcement came in the midst of widespread rumors that Pereira could move up to light heavyweight to challenge Jamahal Hill for the 205-pound title. Although both sides seemed interested in the clash of champions, Pereira will now meet Israel Adesanya in a highly anticipated rematch. After news surfaced, the Last Stylebender took to social media to tease the fight with his own promo video that many fans have said is even cooler than the promos released by the UFC. The former champion captioned the video, "In this game, we don't keep score, we settle them." Although Pereira emerged from the first fight victorious, the betting odds for the rematch currently have Adesanya as a slight favorite, with the former champion sitting at a -145 to Pereira's +125 underdog status. While those lines could change between now and the fight, considering the fact that Adesanya was up on all three of the judges' scorecards going into that last fifth round, he could in fact retain his status as the betting favorite. Although he's 0-3 to Alex Pereira across two combat sports, Adesanya showed in this first fight that he has what it takes to wobble and even potentially finish Pereira. As fans and analysts have continued to reference, at the end of the first round, Adesanya was seconds away from finishing the fight. Had Pereira not been saved by the bell, things may have played out very differently. When the two clash at UFC 287, who do you think gets the job done? Give us your predictions in the comments section below. Francis Ngannou provides update on Tyson Fury boxing match. It sounds as though talks are progressing after Tyson Fury recently challenged former UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou to a mixed rules boxing match that would see the two compete under boxing rules in a cage and wearing MMA gloves. According to Ngannou, who spoke with TMZ Sports, he has talked to members of Fury's team regarding this fight. With Fury pursuing a fight with Alexander Usyk in April, the WBC heavyweight champion won't be free until after the fight, likely around summertime. The way Ngannou sees things, with his knee rehabilitation progressing, the delay gives him even more time to prepare.
We've been talking about this fight in the past 2 years. I think at this point, the people are waiting for this fight and talking about this fight more than the Joshua fight. But although the Joshua fight was still a massive fight, I would say both fights will be in the same magnitude of a fight. We are kind of advanced in a willing to fight together with Tyson Fury, and looks like that's the way to go primarily.
If the two compete against one another under boxing rules, how do you see things going in MMA gloves? Gilbert Burns reacts to Jorge Masvidal fight, along with Dana White's announcement that Alex Pereira and Israel Adesanya would be competing against one another at UFC 287. The UFC president also revealed that Gilbert Burns would be taking on the BMF Jorge Masvidal in a highly anticipated welterweight clash. For Burns, who had been campaigning for the fight for quite some time prior to accepting a UFC 283 scrap with Neil Magny in Rio de Janeiro, the bout with Masvidal was a long time coming. On the flip side of things, Masvidal has been eager to shut Burns' mouth since late last year. In the midst of Burns campaigning for the fight, he accused the BMF of turning down a fight, something that seemingly didn't sit right with Masvidal. With the fight now finalized, Burns took to Twitter to give his thoughts on the bout, calling himself the hungriest fighter in the division. After his win over Neil Magny failed to provide him the boost in the rankings that he wanted, he'll likely look to once again make a statement with a win over Masvidal. For the BMF, however, he'll be looking to snap a three-fight skid that most recently saw him lose his grudge match with former friend and teammate Colby Covington early last year. How do you see Burns versus Masvidal playing out? Give us your thoughts in the comments below. Beneil Dariush explains Volkanovski's path to victory against Makhachev. With just weeks to go until pound-for-pound king, Alexander Volkanovski stepped into the octagon to challenge for the lightweight title. Anticipation is quickly mounting. While Volkanovski continues to ramp up the friendly banter with Islam Makhachev leading up to the fight, fans and analysts are eager to see how the featherweight champion handles the wrestling onslaught of the lightweight champion. This week, streaking contender Beneil Dariush, who is hoping to secure a title fight with the winner of the Clash of Champions, spoke about Volkanovski's path to victory. Unsurprisingly, he believes if Volk can keep the fight standing, he has the best chance to win.
I think one thing Alex has to really focus on is the feints. If you watch Makhachev, He does everything basic, but he's so good at the basics, and he hides a lot of his takedowns and strikes behind his feints. So if he could figure out the feints, and he can also use his own feints, which he has very good feints as well.
While the featherweight champion is confident that Makhachev will not be able to hold him down very easily, the question remains whether or not he can comfortably implement his game plan without fear of overextending and leaving himself vulnerable for a takedown. When the two men clash at UFC 284, how do you see things playing out? Drop your predictions in the comment section below. Dillon Danis leaks DMs with Sean Strickland. While Sean Strickland may be one of the most polarizing figures in the MMA community, Dillon Danis stands alone as arguably the least popular. Time and time again, Danis has found himself at odds with fight fans, his peers, analysts, and even random civilians. This week, Danis posted screenshots of his DMs with Sean Strickland, where the polarizing UFC middleweight made some harsh suggestions to Danis before the outspoken grappler responded with several crude remarks. The exchange ended with Strickland seemingly offering Danis the opportunity to settle things inside the ring or the cage, telling the Bellator MMA fighter that he knows where to find him. Strickland, of course, has extended such offers to others in the past, including one internet troll who actually showed up and stepped in the ring with him. While Danis seemed to think that the internet would be on his side, based on his replies, it doesn't seem as though that's the case. Danis, of course, recently pulled out of his scheduled boxing match with YouTuber KSI at the last minute, leaving fans with plenty of questions regarding when he'll return to the cage, or if he will ever step in a boxing ring. As Conor McGregor toys with the idea of coaching the Ultimate Fighter and prepares for his own return to the octagon, it'll be interesting to see if these two reunite to train for their comeback bouts together. Before we continue, make sure you give that like button some love, and be sure to subscribe to the MMA Zone for all of the latest news. Paddy Pimblett has life-changing epiphany. Streaking UFC lightweight Paddy the Baddy recently had a life-changing epiphany when he learned what the numbers on a toaster mean. Pimblett took to TikTok to post footage of himself learning at 28 years of age that the numbers on a toaster indicate how long the bread would be toasted for, not the quote, level of toastiness. As Paddy the Baddy gets ready to tie the knot with his longtime girlfriend, he's already preparing to undergo ankle surgery in March. During his layoff, he'll have plenty of time to kick back and experiment with the different toaster settings now that he knows exactly what he's doing. Alex Pereira reflects on journey to being UFC champion. Years before their first meeting inside the octagon, when Alex Pereira was 2-0 over Israel Adesanya in kickboxing, the last stylebender was quoted as saying that one day, when he's UFC champion, Pereira would be sitting in a bar somewhere telling his friends how he defeated Adesanya in the ring. Fast forward several years and the two men were set to clash inside the octagon, marking their third showdown across two combat sports. The entire time Adesanya was climbing the UFC's ladder and Pereira was winning Glory Kickboxing Championships in 2 divisions, he was keeping an eye on his longtime rival. When the two met inside the octagon, Pereira proved that, regardless of the rule set, he had the formula to defeat Adesanya. Ahead of the rematch between these two, he spoke to UFC.com about his steadfast belief in himself, saying, "I'm a simple guy that comes from very humble beginnings. A lot of people in those same conditions don't believe in their dreams and what they can achieve, and I'm here to change that idea. I come from those same conditions, and today, I'm the UFC World Champion. That's the legacy I want to leave behind. You have to believe, but not just believe, you have to make it happen. You have to believe and make it happen, and you will achieve it. Only time will tell whether he's able to defeat his longtime rival once again, or if Adesanya will finally be able to emerge victorious." Thank you so much for joining us today. What do you make of what's going on in the fight world? Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all the latest news from the MMA Zone. See you next time.